Get over here!
I'm a little busy.
George, I want to fight you!
I'm taking a shit, Johnny.
Here's Johnny! Get over here!
It's been almost 25 years since the original Mortal Kombat was released in the arcades.
Ever since then, the series has been known for great local gaming competitions and absolutely disgusting violence.
Well, it's good to see that Mortal Kombat X, yes, you could choose to call it 10 or X, hasn't changed too much, and the changes that have been made are all for the better.
Developed by NetherRealm Studios, who previously made the Mortal Kombat reboot in 2011, as well as the more recent Injustice Gods Among Us, it seems like their experience has paid off.
And why would you say that, Johnny?
Well, you wrote the review, you should know, George.
Well then fine. We know this because Mortal Kombat X is better than anything the studio has made before.
Like NetherRealm's past games, Mortal Kombat 10 does have a short story mode, and it's not that bad.
After the events of the reboot, Shinnok comes back and tries to take over the Earth Realm. But he sucks that he's stuck inside a pretty little amulet.
Fast forward 20 years later, everyone's older, surprise, and some combatants even have kids. Melina then comes out and steals the amulet to release Shinnok and take over the world.
Stories like this are as old as Mortal Kombat itself, but surprisingly enough, it works well this time around. The actors' performances aren't too bad, but the script is very corny. It makes the game's tone feel inconsistent with the mood changes from serious to disgusting to straight up comical.
But after a while, this grew on us, feeling more like a dark comedy than anything.
Cinematics of the game are amazing. There are many action sequences throughout the campaign, and all of them have more polish and style than any summer blockbuster.
Though it baffles us why the frame rate drops constantly during the cutscenes.
Yeah, but hey, at least it never drops in the actual gameplay.
If you haven't noticed this already, this is a very good looking game. Hands down the best looking fighting game out there. Everything has an incredible sense of detail and polish.
When a highly detailed character like anyone but the young new characters are paired up with an incredibly detailed background moving at 60 frames per second, you almost can't believe you're actually playing the game. And because the game is so gorgeous, it helps highlight Mortal Kombat's insane violence. It's not just the most violent Mortal Kombat game out there, but it's also one of the most violent video games ever created. Head-cutting, testicle-bursting, arrow-piercing madness are only a couple of the beautiful fatalities and X-rays found in Mortal Kombat.
And we do apologize for not getting any footage of the testicles bursting. It got so bad sometimes, one of my friends I was playing with had to take a break after 2 games because he couldn't handle so much violence at once.
Besides the gruesome fatalities, you love the Mortal Kombat series because of its accessible and complex combat system. And I don't think we need to go into detail explaining every single thing in a fighting game because you have a brain.
How do you know that, George?
Well, it's because you're watching BathroomGamers. But anyways, let me tell you that the feel of combat is almost close to perfect. Every punch, kick, or any other form of contact feels powerful and satisfying due to visual and sound cues.
When both players are fighting, their animations never feel like they clash, if that makes any sense. Combos and special moves are easy to pull off.
Now, my personal preference is to use the D-pad instead of the analog stick. Unless you have one of those fancy fighting joysticks, then please use that.
X-rays are back, and while each character still only gets 1 custom X-ray, they still deal 1/3 of damage on your enemy and look badass and painful as well. Interactable environments have been brought over from Injustice, and we were impressed in how balanced they are.
While you can bounce off walls, use melee objects in the background, and even throw ladies, they don't feel overpowered. They are just as balanced as actual fighting moves without making them feel pointless. They are a welcome addition that we'll hopefully see in future MK titles.
There are a total of 25 characters, with more available in the future. Almost a whole 1/3 of these characters are new combatants, and they're all pretty good fighters. In fact, all of the fighters are balanced, and they all have completely different playstyles.
While Casey Cades and Jacqueline Briggs aren't the most original looking characters, their moves are crazy cool. One of our favorite additions to the game are the different sets each character has. Each character has 3 different variants that change some of the ways they play.
One style for Scorpion gives him a kick-ass sword, while another one gives him a bunch of fire powers.
One style for Farah and Tor have both of them fighting together, while another has just Tor playing by himself, but he's much stronger in the process. While there are many fans who go, oh, why can't each fighter use all the abilities at once? Well, whatever the reasons are, we like this new addition. The game also had what made Mortal Kombat famous in the first place, fatalities, and they have never been as disgusting as they are now. With each character now having multiple fatalities, you'd be surprised with how much imagination was put into these.
And yes, they're all disgusting. But now you can buy easy fatality tokens with real money, which can let you perform a fatality with only 2 button presses. From a consumer standpoint, these seem pretty pointless. I mean, it's not super hard to memorize and perform a fatality for your favorite character.
There are also brutalities, which I can't perform for the life of me. There are combos you can perform right before you kill someone during a match that can be pretty brutal and humiliating.
Towers are now back, with some that update weekly, daily, and hourly. It's a lot of fun to post your high scores in the towers to see if your friends can beat them.
There's also a huge online component with different game modes to verse people around the world. While this would be enjoyable, I just can't get into it for a number of reasons.
It's because you suck!
Okay, well, take it out the fact that I'm not that great at fighting games. That extra millisecond of lag is noticeable enough that it will throw your entire game off. And no, this is not an excuse to say I suck online, Johnny. But this is unfortunate because Key to the Hill is a great game mode for any fighting game if you have the patience.
There are also factions you can join online to converse people in other factions and make yours the best. While this would be a good idea for most games, it just seems tacked on in Mortal Kombat. As a one-on-one fighting game, there isn't much incentive for anyone to want to win fights, just so their group can win.
You can play Test Your Luck, which adds multiple factors, abilities, and disabilities to a regular match. Sometimes it's fun to adapt to your shortcomings and abuse your newly given powers, but there were many matches that were so unbalanced that the mode quickly sucked out all the fun and became frustrating.
The Crypt is back, and it's the best version yet. You walk around going to graves and things, spending your hard-earned coins on new fatalities, costumes, and behind-the-scenes stuff. What we love about this Crypt is that you explore just like you do in the 90s dungeon crawlers. There's a real sense of exploration and discovery that we never expected from a Mortal Kombat game.
Though it upsets us greatly that the whole mystery could just be shattered by paying $20 to unlock the entire Crypt.
Now, we didn't mind the easy fatality microtransactions, but this is ridiculous. The main story mode takes a short 5 hours to complete.
The replay value consists of online play, if you can tolerate it, and the endless competition you can have with your friends. I mean, come on, it's a fighting game. One of the most timeless types of games out there. I can imagine many people, including myself, playing this game for a very long time.
And I'll continue to kick your ass at this game.
Now that I'm not looking forward to. The main story is not the reason you should buy this game, but it's not that bad. You need to buy Mortal Kombat if you're a fan of pure fighting games, or more importantly, have a long history with the Mortal Kombat franchise.
With one of the best fighting systems found in any game and also one of the goriest and most violent games out there, Mortal Kombat is both for the hardcore and casual button mashers.
Although it did not have as much of an impact as the 2011 reboot did, it is still a fine, worthy successor that has been improved upon in almost every way.
Well, as long as you play offline, because you suck.
Yeah, I get it, Johnny, I get it. Mortal Kombat X receives an 8.5 out of 10.
Take a seat, Junior.
Thank you for watching Bathroom Gamers. Future videos include the Resident Evil Revelations 2 review, eventually the review for Metal Gear Solid 2 so we can get ready for the Phantom Pain, and soon you guys will get part 1 for the history of music games. This may sound weird, but after the announcement many weeks ago about Rock Band 4, and recently with the announcement of Guitar Hero Live, I figured why not go through both franchises. Ambitious I know, but if you guys want to see it, let me know.
And if you guys want to see more of me in the future, be sure to... Ow! Why'd you hit me?
Because no one wants to hear from you in the future, Johnny. Okay, anyways. Well, if you want to see more of Johnny in the future, comment below to let me know.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for watching, and stay fresh.